What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Double M Live. You are joined by myself, Mike Nice, my co-host Marv. We're here holding it down, and it's an exciting time. If you are
Warriors.
an exciting time indeed, especially if you are a New England Patriots fan like us, because the New England Patriots are headed back to the Super Bowl 60. I had to look that up because I didn't know what numbers
Man.
it was at. You know, my Roman numerals be all jumbled up sometimes, but 60, Super Bowl 60.
So, so Mike, I have a trivia question. For as long as we've known each other, how many Super Bowls have we witnessed together?
Woo! Okay. Uh, uh, 4.
We've witnessed four Super Bowls. There are people right now who've never seen a damn playoff.
Playoff. Playoff.
We witnessed four, do you think? So we saw 2014,
Seahawks,
16 Atlanta,
Falcons,
17 Eagles,
Eagles, motherfucks,
18
Rams.
Rams.
I
So th
shot 4 off the top of my head, but wow, I was right. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. And now we're gonna witness our fifth.
Fifth one. Wow. And some teams, some organizations, some fan bases haven't seen one in that span or just in their life. It's crazy, man. I still can't believe it, Marv, that the
Nice.
Patriots are here. Who would have
And
ever thought?
Mike, I think about the show we did last when we talked about the Patriots against the Raiders. We did the post game show,
Week 1,
and
yep.
I was sick. I was sick because it's like this is the team I expected. Everyone was so hyped about Vrabel, and we're gonna have Tommy Curran on the show, and we're gonna talk to him about it. But everyone was so hyped about Vrabel, and me, I'm like. Yeah, it's a he's a coach, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His claim to fame really is coaching was beating Belichick. So if everyone's so excited for a guy who beat Belichick, it's not like he's been to the Super Bowl or anything. So I had my reservations. I had my reservations with this Patriots team. I'm thinking, hey, if we get to six, happy. I'm expecting maybe 7, 8 wins. Obviously, we know the story. 17 wins in, going into the Super Bowl. I am floored.
Listen,
Floored.
as each week passed, they started racking up the wins. 6 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins. I think I've stayed steady with my mindset of just listen. I don't know how to get these wins. I don't know how to hear, but I'm just gonna enjoy the ride. This isn't,
Yeah.
the 2000s and whatnot, where it's like, yo, I expect them. They're getting this win. Yo, we winning this game. Patriots is winning at home. They're not. I just enjoyed the ride, enjoyed the wave that this team has been on, and it's just unbelievable that going from what we witnessed the last 2 seasons, last couple of seasons, but especially the last 2 seasons, 4 wins, 4 wins. Rookie head coach, young quarterback. You had Mac Jones, you had the Cam Newton, you had to figure it out with Jacoby Brissett and all this that this team has dealt with to just come into the next season and just have a mindset of, all right, first year coach, McDaniels is back, young quarterback. Let's just figure it out and hope that, we can ease our way into some successful years coming up. They said, forget all that. We ain't worried about
No.
coming up. We taking this shit right now.
The time is now.
The time is now, and this team is going to be competing in the Super Bowl. I here's my Kevin Garnett always gets the talk of, man, he showed up to Boston and he changed the culture and he
Yeah.
shifted things. Are we looking at Mike Vrabel as like a Kevin Garnett type of, because it's New England Patriots, it's Boston, it's always gonna have championship
Yeah.
culture and whatnot, but like that same talking about the Celtics, they sucked the previous year. And obviously, Vrabel's a coach, Garnett's a player. It's a little different sport. But like when you're talking about shifting cultures, Vrabel took this team from 4 wins to the Super Bowl. Now, a lot of different people play a part in that. McDaniels, offensive coordinator, Drake Maye's development, signing guys a free agent. But at the end of the day, Vrabel's the major voice. Is he
Yeah.
that type of like Kevin Garnett culture shifter for this team to
Well,
like
100. That's a great point, Mike. And then the answer is 100%, right? I listened to Pierce the other day, and he mentioned how, it takes a player, all it takes is one player to change the whole dynamic. And I think that's true for basketball, but for football, when you're interviewing a coach, I bet you the number one question or the number one thing everyone in the room wants to hear is how are you going to change the culture?
Mm,
What are you going to do to change this culture? What type of culture are you going to bring into the team? Because it's 52 men in there. It's 90 when you start off in the off season. So what are you going to do? Vrabel brought that pedigree. Obviously, he has some of that New England with him
yep.
from when he played here. Brought that pedigree, but he also brought his guys. He brought his gang with him too.
Yeah.
I played with this boy. I played with this guy. You might not know who he is, but these guys are gonna come. And then he made them captains and all these things. And I'm looking like, all right, bro, relax. But he knew what he was doing, and it really changed the whole. I wouldn't say change the whole culture, because I'm not gonna say Mayo completely destroyed it. I'm not gonna say that the last few years of Belichick was still the Patriots way. So he just enhanced it. He enhanced the what in his way, his vision.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this team, you look how they're set up, and it just makes me think about coaching in general because you just see the success that this team's had, and it just has me thinking like we all looked at this team coming into the season, looked at the roster, and like, this roster's not anything special. A second year quarterback, Stephon Diggs coming back from an ACL injury, and aside from that, the team is nothing special. Obviously, you have Gonzalez at cornerback, your elite cornerback. But aside from him on the defensive side, nothing special about this team. But everybody bought into whatever Kool-Aid that Vrabel was sipping. I mean, sorry, dishing out. And it's like, if you're a coach, as long as you have player buy-in, that can take your team a long way. You may not
Yeah,
have the most talented team. You may not have the highest paid guys, guys who are, elite at their position or whatnot. But if you have all, 53 guys or whatever the number is bought in, locked in on what your coach is preaching, and not only are they locked in and bought in on what the coach is preaching, but they're ready to go to war and put it all on the line and really, sacrifice and commit and just be dogs for your team. That can really take your team a long way. Now, does it always equal making an appearance in a Super Bowl or a championship game? Not necessarily, but like from all accounts, the players love Vrabel. They're
no, for
ride or
sure.
die for Mike Vrabel. They're ride or die. You think just recently after the AFC Championship game, Stephon Diggs called him the best coach he's ever had.
Wow.
So like player buy-in goes a long way, I think, for any coach in any sport. And it's in prime, it's right here in front of us watching this New England Patriots team.
Diggs called him the best coach because 90% of coaches would have kicked him out for that purple stuff he had in his bag. That's why
That
he
was
called
strike
him.
one. That was strike. Not even gonna get into the other stuff, but that was strike one. Belichick might have cut him after that, to be
Yeah,
honest.
a guy coming from the ACL injury, playing with some dust we don't know about, might have got the can. That's why he the best coach. But all jokes aside, we're gonna talk more about this. We got Tommy Curran from NBC Sports Boston, ready to join us and talk to us more about this Patriots Seahawks matchup and what the hell's been going on in this season.
All right, and we are now joined by NBC Sports Boston's very best. Tom E. Curran has joined Double M. Tom, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us this evening to talk some
Welcome
Patriots.
back. Welcome back.
Thank you, boys. I really appreciate you reaching out. You know how busy it is, but you guys have always been terrific to me. So I'm happy to find the time for you.
Appreciate you a lot, Tom. Thanks a lot for joining. But so we're not even going to waste a lot of time. You know what it is right now. Patriots are headed back to the Super Bowl to take on the Seahawks. Tom, I got to ask you because I know this is a question that we're all looking to left and to the right, up, down, trying to get the answer to. How did the 2025 New England Patriots get here? How? Because no one had
Yeah.
this on their bingo card.
Let's go with this. I'm going to give the rapid fire reasons. They got the right guy last January when they decided to have some sack, and they had to do that. It was hard for them to do that for crap. They had to have some sack and say, Gerard, it's not working. We're going to make a move. They had the sack to make the move to Mike Vrabel and take all the financial hit. They also made the move to get Josh McDaniels and said, look, Josh, we have what could be an unbelievable quarterback here, but we need to put him in the right hands because we're not going to have a repeat of Mac Jones. They were able to secure Josh and secure Mike. Mike, because he was shit-canned, was able to come in here with a purpose of, that's not going to happen with me again. I'm going to be extremely organized, and I'm going to get some really experienced coaches around me. All those things fell into place. And because Mike's a great communicator, he was able to reach out to players and not sell them a bill of goods or be all touchy-feely and tell them how great things were going to be. He was going to lay it to them in a very matter-of-fact way. I don't know how long it's going to take, but if we do these things and I care about you and you care about the team, things will probably go pretty well. Then they absolutely murdered it during free agency, just killed it. Yep. Every single guy. And those guys bought in. You get a guy like Stephon Diggs who had bumpy times at previous stops, and you bring him in and you make a connection with him so that he decides, you know what, I'm going to be the best player and leader that they have. You get a guy like Morgan Moses, who's just a touchstone on one side of the line. You get Garrett Bradbury, who's a good shit playing center. I can swear a little bit here. Yes?
Oh, yeah.
You good on double M.
All right. Well, I didn't know if parents are going to go, what the hell? This guy comes on. Garrett, just they nailed everything, whether it's Diggs, Bradbury, Morgan Moses, Mac Hollins. It's insane how much yield they got. Then they had an easy schedule. No discredit to that, but they were able to work their way through their schedule at a really interesting pace. You know, play another bad team, lose to it by your own hand against the Raiders. Then have a really exhilarating AFC East win against Miami, where the player, May, plays out of his friggin' mind. And everyone's like, oh my God, can he play like that all the time? Next week he plays like ass against Pittsburgh. And then after that, it's like 8 weeks of bulletproof play. So the belief grew and grew and grew, where they were, I think, saying, fellas, the only way we lose is if we screw stuff up on our own, and we don't want to lose, so let's just keep being selfless. So that's kind of my, and then everything obviously feeds from there. But those are the main reasons. A lot of it has to do with vibes, though.
Do you believe that if Gerard Mayo was fired, we all know that, and they went with Mike Vrabel. If Mike Vrabel was not available, is Gerard Mayo fired the same day of the last game of the season?
That's a really good question, Marv. I don't know. I would imagine the train was already on the tracks with Mike. I do feel as if, you know, in my experience, talking to people who are the decision makers on the team, my feeling was going into the tail end of the season that Gerard was going to get another year. Then they had that 45-7 loss to the Chargers, which was embarrassing. They had another, I can't remember off the top of my head. The Chargers loss was damaging. They barely showed up. So I think that they found it to be dysfunctional. And during those losses, I think the claim was made that, look, it's not going to get any better. And if it gets better, how much better is it going to get? So whether or not Mike was available, I think that they were going to make the move on Gerard, unfortunately for him, because, you know, had a great relationship with him. We don't talk very often anymore, if at all.
Right.
Just a couple of texts here and there. It really sucks. You feel bad for the guy, but they did the right thing for the fan base and the right thing for the team itself, which, you know, I've always thought of this too. It's a public trust. It's not yours. And Jonathan and Robert say that all the time. It's not ours. It's a public trust. You have to do the right thing for the people.
Tell the other team in Boston that line over there down at Fenway Park.
100%. 100%.
But absolutely. You know, one thing that I always, you know, when I look at this team, the offense gets a lot of the recognition. You know, you got Drake Maye playing at an MVP level. Obviously, Stephon Diggs has done what he's done in a return season after the injury. Yep. And then, you know, you look at the new coach and Mike Vrabel, returning coach, and Josh McDaniels. These two guys have played a very important role with the success this team's had. But if you had to say one coach maybe deserves more credit than the other, who would you give the credit to?
Between McDaniels and Vrabel?
Yes.
I hate to. Well, okay. I'm going to say Vrabel because, as I mentioned before, vibes have a lot to do with it, and the buy-in and the culture and the empowering of your assistants, and whether it be Doug Marone's offensive line or Zach Core, who had to fill in for Terrell Williams, or Josh, all of those things had to happen. So I credit Mike's as an individual for having the vision to do that. So the personality traits of being the coach that include managing people, I give Mike the credit first. But when it comes to X's and O's and on the field stuff, I would credit Josh. I don't think that Drake Maye would look like Drake Maye does right now if he wasn't with Josh.
I agree.
I don't think that Sam Darnold will look like Sam Darnold does right now if he wasn't with Kevin O'Connell last year, and now he's with Clint Kubiak, who's a talented guy who comes off a tree. And Josh is a tree unto himself. That's what's crazy. You get all these McVay guys or Shanahan guys. Josh is his own tree. He can be anything, and that's why we talk about one of the best coaches in the league. See if I'm high or not. He's the greatest offensive coordinator in the history of the game.
He has the accolades for it. He's
got the resume. He's got the ring. So you could say Walsh maybe because he started an offense, or you could say Mike Shanahan because he started something.
Can I throw in a quick monkey wrench question really quickly? Because this is hot in the media right now with Belichick not being a first ballot Hall of Famer. Is McDaniels a Hall of Famer?
No.
We're talking greatest offensive coordinator all the time. The accolades, you don't even think.
I would hope he'll become a Patriots Hall of Famer.
Right.
Dante Scarnecchia is in. I just think it's so hard to get in as a head coach. McDaniels can't go in there before like Mike Holmgren or Mike Shanahan because the head coach responsibility is always going to be bigger than the coordinator because you have to be the face of the franchise. It's like when I was voting for all pros and MVPs, I would state it. I am never voting for anybody other than a quarterback for MVP unless all the quarterback candidates suck and an MVP runs and a running back runs for 2,000 yards. The reason being, no running back or wide receiver has on every single snap the need to stand there, break down the defense, listen to the play call, get everybody lined up. That's not falling to them.
Yeah.
So even the worst quarterback's doing more shit than the best running back. Anyway.
I would listen to you in the beginning of the season, Tom, and you and Phil would talk about there's something there. There's a good team in there somewhere. And then I remember last year I would say the same thing about the Gerard Mayo led team. Well, especially with the way they started off the season, like you could see something there. What was the difference outside of Vrabel? Maybe it is Vrabel and the personnel, but you saw something that this team could be good if they just change some things up. What made you say that early in the season?
The drastic improvement of May to go from a guy who I thought was going to be maybe in year 3 or 4 a pretty good Pro Bowl level player, hopefully, to just when he went off. That was the thing, Mark, is when he went off in games and he'd be 18 for 24 for 260 and 2 touchdowns, no picks, and he'd run for 40 yards. You're like, it's a really good game. That's statistic. That's what you're looking for. Yeah. And then he'd do it again. 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 And we'd all sit there and go, it was Tampa. It was Atlanta. It was the Panthers. And then when he kept just doing it, you're like, that's who he is. That's what he is. So I started to but what really caught my eye was that he had protection. The defense was exerting, especially early in the year. They were getting a lot of pressure early in the year. And those two things were just non-existent last year. They couldn't block. They couldn't pressure quarterbacks. So the fact that they were doing that made me start to say, well, maybe they can get to 7 or 8 wins. Never. I think 14.
Yeah, no way. You could ask Mike. I was just hoping for 6.
Yeah. I mean, and that's
I don't know how we got here. I think we're all slightly still confused, but at the end of the day, they're here. They're here.
You know what's crazy,
Um,
boys? Is excuse me, they've done it, and they already have all the cap space they need. They
Yeah.
have all the draft picks they need. They have a cornerstone quarterback, a cornerstone cornerback, a left tackle. All three are on their rookie contracts. They have an offensive coordinator who's not going to go anywhere, whereas every other offensive coordinator who does well is going to get the hell out. And I don't know. I'm just saying, in my experience talking to Josh over the years, he wants to be here. He's not saying, "Oh God, I hope I get a job in Arizona." He wants to be here. He's done it at two different places. His family is enjoying the shit out of this year. He's enjoying it. Um, so that stability means, I mean, they might not go to the Super Bowl next year. They might not win 14 games, but there's not going to be a full-on retreat.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're coming out of this season. They're set up for some long-term success. Now, are we expecting to have them another run like the early 2000 Patriots? You don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
But, going off of what they've already displayed this season, you want to expect, with the guys they have in place, like you mentioned, a few guys on their rookie contract, offensive coordinator doesn't look like he's going anywhere. You want to believe that this team is set up to be, a contending team for years to come with everything they have.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question about the actual game, the Super Bowl 60 itself. Obviously you can look on both sides of the ball. You can look at both teams. Is there a specific player that you probably feel is a major X factor in that game with the matchup against the Seahawks?
Yeah, that's a good question. How about somebody like, and I don't know the personnel on the Seahawks offensive line well enough yet, but the most important thing is to make Darnold uncomfortable.
See ghosts. Have him see some ghosts.
See ghosts. I don't care if he just hears noises. He needs something. Has to. He doesn't have to actually see a ghost. He just has to get chills. Something has to happen, because if you don't bother him, he's another guy who's like 24 for 30 for 311 every time you turn around. I mean, I could pull up for the hell of it. Let's do this just for fun.
We lost Tommy for a second here.
I think he might have clicked out accidentally, but I mean, I feel like he was probably about to pull up some stats or something along the lines. He was going to get us some information or something that he wanted to get us hip to.
It's all good. While we wait for Tom, Mike, who are you looking at, or matchup wise? Did you have anyone in mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot is going to fall on Christian Gonzalez's plate. He's going up against probably arguably the best wide receiver in the league this season, and JSN, Jackson Enigma. And I know the stats are out there. Something I read recently that Gonzalez is on a Stephon Gilmore of 14 or whatever year we had.
His defensive player of the year.
Yeah, he's performing on that level, and like he doesn't give up much receptions, much yards. He's doing so great. And
Stiddy was testing him.
He sure was, and he held his own. He's held his own for the most part. And can you say he's really gone up against an elite talent like JSN in Seattle? No, he is not. So it's going to be a real test when he goes up. Are you worth the money, Gonzalez?
Yeah, because look, last time he faced an elite receiving, I don't know if this is elite, but Drake London was a really good receiver where he was matched up in him. Drake London got the best of Gonzo. So, you have to look into those type of matchups. I think that he's a solidifier. If you were to ask me what I'm looking at, Mike, I'm looking at the special teams, bro. I think me, man, how frustrated I get when it comes to the punting and kicking and such. But I'm looking at Marcus Jones. Can he shake things up a little bit? I think Seahawks outmatched the Patriots. I don't think that is a question. I don't think anybody second guesses that. You look at the rosters, Seahawks have the better roster, right? But you just got to be better for 3 hours, one game left. And if you can have an advantage in these special teams, if Marcus Jones can break one out early into a game to set the tone, if Marcus Jones in the punt return game can set something up, that will definitely help you in an advantage going into the game. We got Tommy Curran back in the building.
What an idiot. You
All
should
good.
have heard how long I was going on about Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm like
Oh
going
my
from one game
goodness.
I knew you must have clicked something by mistake or whatnot. But still, we
No,
want to hear tape.
you know how you have the tab, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I, instead of opening a new tab and going to find Pro
X.
Football Reference,
You
I did
use
it
the
on
same
you
tab.
guys. So I'm like, oh, what are these numbers? All right, I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna go to the other tab. You still there?
We
We're
still
still
got you.
here. We're
We
still
still got you.
here.
What a dummy. That's what happens when you deal with the over 55 crowd. All right, listen. So how are you going to keep Jackson Smith and Jigba in check? You can do it by putting a crap ton of defenders on them, or you can speed up Sam Darnold. So listen to these numbers. All the way through the year, 13 targets, 9 catches, 124. 10, 8, 103. 6, 5, 96. Give you a few just quick. 9, 8, 132. That was against Tampa. 13, 8, 162. 14, 8, 123. 9, 8, 129. 6, 5, 93.
Damn.
It's every week.
Sounds like the reason why I won my fantasy league.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Sounds
Now
like
we
the
gotta
reason why I
stop the
run my
show.
fantasy league.
Like, listen to this. Like, against the Rams, everybody on the Rams knows, okay, we probably should try and stop Jigba. This is on 12-18, 13, 8, 96. They threw to him 13 times. And in the playoffs, again, against the Rams, 12, 10, 153 the other day.
Yep.
And they have Jared Verse. They have, good corners, and they have a good defense. So how can you got to figure he's going to get his.
Oh, yeah.
You have to,
For
you have to somehow make Darnold uncomfortable. I do think it's a big deal that they are not going to have, and I keep blanking on the guys.
Charbonnet,
Thank you.
the running back.
I think he's nasty.
But Charbonnet is hurt. It's depends.
Yeah. So I think that's a problem for them. They're going to have Kenneth Walker, but Charbonnet, I think, had 12 touchdowns. So it was a really nice complementary pair. But, they're the best defense that the Patriots have seen in the playoffs, and they're the best offense. And we could talk about whether or not Houston was the best. But in terms of an X factor, I would say instead of a player, I'd say that it is Zach Core again, figuring out a way to ratchet up the heat on Sam Darnold.
I like that, Tom. Now my last question for you, as we get closer into.
Is there a lot that we haven't gotten to?
I don't believe so.
We've been touching bases, man. You've been hitting it. You've been hitting everything that we need.
Right.
So looking into the matchup, I know you're talking defensively. The past couple of weeks have been talking about Drake Maye, talking about his shoulder, his play the last couple of weeks going into. Do you think that his performance into the playoffs is mainly due to the fact that he's been playing some really hard defenses? Because when the throws, you see the throws that he's making, the defenses have been top notch, and everyone's been criticizing it. How do you think he's going to be prepared for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, first thing on the shoulder, he was limited in practice on this Wednesday, this Wednesday during the bye week in between the Super Bowl. And he was projected as limited. They didn't have a practice, but they said, okay, if we were having a practice, he would have been limited with a shoulder injury. I actually take that as it's the second best news you could get. And you can lie on these things, but I don't think the Patriots are going to start lying and say, because the penalty is too significant. So the best case scenario would have been nothing. The second best case scenario would have been full participation shoulder. And they said limited. So at least they're acknowledging he's got a shoulder problem. He probably wouldn't have thrown the whole time, but he would have been out there. I'm going to presume that he's going to shoot that up with Toradol or whatever else it is, and he will be able to throw as Drake
One more
Maye.
game. Give us one more game.
And I think he would happily do that. So he'll play well. He'll be okay. The question was, I'm talking too much. Sorry.
You're good.
What was the question?
I was just trying to see his.
Oh yeah, no, the defenses.
The defenses that he's been playing against.
It's like as the season goes along, it's like a term. And when you're in school, you get the easy stuff at the beginning. You might get the hard stuff later. The tests are going to get more and more difficult. You can't expect to get a 97 on all the tests. The final might be pretty hard. So if he gets a 72, that's good. But his essays have been great. And with his essays, I'm talking about his legs.
Mm.
They won the other day because of his legs.
Yes.
And I don't know why they're talking like that's a deterrent. Oh, well, he used his legs to get out. So what? Whatever you do to get a win at this point in the playoffs, you do it. If the arm is not working, you use your legs to get that first down, and you're to the Super Bowl.
Well, for him to be as good as he is, Mikey, on 3rd and 10, 11, 12, like he had
Yeah.
so many conversions the other day on 3rd and a lot that, and one of the biggest ones was, it's funny, I was looking back and trying to figure it out. Remember when Denver failed on 4th and 1? Of course you do. So the Patriots ended up facing a 3rd and 11 on their own 13 there. So they were kind of hosed if they didn't pick up that first down. May hit Mac Hollins for 20. I think that was that double clutch catch. So we picked that up on 3rd and 11.
The flea flicker.
No, the flea flicker was later. But they needed to get that 3rd and 11 conversion to get off their goal line. Otherwise, Denver was going to get the ball back at the 50. They got off their goal line. They still, 3 plays later, they punted. But when they punted, they changed the field position so that Denver's down at its own 17. And that's when Jarrett Stidham screwed up. But so those throws kind of get lost in there. It's a 3rd and 11, 20-yard throw to Mac Hollins that doesn't end in points, but it gets them off their goal line and gets to put Denver back on its goal line. That shit's big.
It's the type of stuff we've been getting all year from Drake, from this offense, just being able to produce when necessary. And it's got him this far. And like, Marv's just been saying, like we've been saying, it's one more game where it's needed. So before we wrap things up, Tom, and we start to really gear towards the Super Bowl, got to get this final question in. Prediction. What's your score prediction?
Already? I mean, I got to presume.
Now we got to ask.
I know. All right. Put all kinds of caveats on this. 28-23 Seattle.
And what was the score of 2014 Super Bowl against them?
That was 28-24. Is that the best game you've ever seen in your life?
I keep telling people that's the best football game.
You take it over the Atlanta Falcons game?
It doesn't compare to the Falcons game. The Falcons game was a great comeback.
The level of play.
Two elite teams, even.
That's true.
Going back and forth. It's the best football game.
That's why I put it over there, Mike.
I got you. That one.
I've never seen two staffs. That defense is legendary. It was just so good. So I just think that I don't know if there have ever been any higher levels of football played.
I agree.
2 elite teams. That was like a chess match between the Patriots and Seahawks that year. And I don't play chess, but whatever move Pete Carroll decided there at the end.
That was a Hall of Fame performance for Bill Belichick.
That was called checkers, Mike. He was playing checkers on that last play.
Yep.
Hall of Fame performance for Bill. It's unbelievable too. Did we talk about that?
Hey man, what's your take? Do you really think there was some funny business going on with the voters not getting them in there because of Spygate, Deflategate, and all the nonsense?
Bullshit.
Yes, and you should sample. We talked to Armando Salguero from. He works at Outkick now. For a long time, he covered the Dolphins, so he's got the Miami. He's the representative from Miami. He presented Bill, and Armando explained that he presented Bill initially, and then they opened it up for discussion. When they opened it up for discussion, all discussion was related to Spygate.
Wow.
Armando then gave a rebuttal. My issue is that you bring into disrepute the entire organization, all the people who have gold jackets, all the people who have spent time investing, giving a shit about the Hall of Fame. When you make a mistake like that, you bring into disrepute all of it. You embarrass the people who are in there already. You embarrass the NFL. You embarrass, and they should have seen their way clear. Just a quick explanation. Bill, Robert Kraft, Roger Craig, L.C. Greenwood, and Ken Anderson were the 5 individuals in a bucket. And in order for one of those guys to get in, they needed to get 80% of the vote. They did this on Zoom, which I actually have a problem with.
Interesting.
I think
it's easier to do it behind a screen.
Not only is it easier to do it behind a screen, if you're going to vote for 3 people, you need to be able to say to somebody, "You voting for Bill? Because we got to make sure that Bill gets in. Otherwise, we're going to look friggin' stupid here." No, I'm voting for L.C. Greenwood and Ken Anderson. And well, somebody's going to vote for Bill, or we're going to look stupid here. And then the gig's going to be up, and everybody's going to be up our ass. But they didn't do that because they're on Zoom. It's so it's embarrassing for them. It's embarrassing for Belichick. I'm sure that he would have much preferred to have been in the conversation. In one way, it works out because it embarrasses the league and shines a light on the very real animosity shown toward him.
For sure.
But the other interesting thing, and we asked Armando about this on early edition, was, well, what's the guarantee that those voters aren't going to say, no, it's Spygate. Spygate's not going away. Was it a 1-year penalty, or are they forever? He's not getting in. So they got to fix that shit.
They got to. So do you believe they got to release names of voters?
I don't think that they will. So I'm kind of going to base it on that. You don't sign up to be a Hall of Fame voter if you know that they're going to share your vote and out you. Then you should be able to voluntarily partake. You can't retroactively say, well, this is anonymous, I'm going to vote this way and this way. And then they say, you know what, we're going to release your vote. I think that that's, to the voters, unfair. Do you understand what I'm saying? You might not agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that they can't grant you anonymity in the process and then later on revoke it because everybody's pissed.
I mean, the backlash that they're getting is coming from all angles.
What they need to do, Mike, excuse me, I'm so sorry, is what they would need to do is say, look, we are from here on out going to be releasing votes. They did this with the AP All-Pro and MVP votes. And I said last year was my last year, even before they said they were going to make it public, because I'm like, I can't vote on this shit. I don't know who the third best tackle is in the NFC. I don't know who, so I'm giving All-Pro votes out. And I had to plagiarize the whole thing, to be honest, because I didn't know who was the best safeties in the league. So I'd have to look at Pro Football Focus. And I'm like, I finally said, you know what? These guys got money attached to it. They can't have some nitwit who doesn't know what's going on. Anyway.
Not everyone has integrity like you, Tom.
Well, I wouldn't go there. I'm not trying to be like a hero here, but I didn't need the headache either.
No, for sure. That's a lot of pressure. But the Bill thing's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, hopefully this shines some light on, like you said, just what's wrong with the whole process and whatnot. And I don't know how they look at things moving forward, but this is definitely a black eye on the whole situation when you're talking Hall of Fame and voting and voters and who gets the privilege to vote. It shines a light on a lot. So however it unfolds from here, I guess we'll all continue to see.
Yes, sir.
Tom, we don't want to, take up any more of your time, but appreciate you joining Double M and just giving us your intake, your take on what the Super Bowl 60 should look like in next Sunday coming up. So I know we'll be watching. I know you'll
watching closely,
down there.
man.
You'll be down there, getting it up close and personal. So look forward to, hopefully talking again and seeing how far this Patriots team can take this thing.
Yeah. All right. Let's circle up in the near future. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, Tom.
Appreciate
Enjoy
you.
the game, boys. See you later.
Take care, Tom.
All right.
And shout out to Tommy Curran, man, for giving us some gems going in there. One thing, Mike, that I thought about, I wanted to ask him, and maybe when he comes back, we'll have time to ask him, is what are the vibes like covering this team going into the Super Bowl compared to through the other years, right? So you mentioned it earlier to start off the show, like, we're used to this, right? 2014, 2016, 2018. There was a certain routine when you're covering the Patriots. Something you had Tom Brady, you had Bill Belichick. You kind of knew what was going on. We were real young in 2001. And when they went, we were young. We couldn't tell what vibes were like in that time. But I wonder what it's like covering this team this year on this Super Bowl run. It's a lot. You mentioned how you're just enjoying the show. You're having a blast because we didn't expect this. I want to know from his perspective as well what it's like this year.
Yeah, that's a really good question that I wish you got a chance to ask, because I would definitely want to know his perspective as well, being around the team as long as he has been. I think one thing for this Patriots team, I mean, maybe you could say the same about Seattle, but we ain't worried about Seattle on this show. Obviously, you have a lot of young guys, and not only do you have young guys, you have guys who've never been in the Super Bowl before. As a coach, Vrabel hasn't been in the Super Bowl before. This is the biggest game he's ever going to coach in so far in his career. So I
Right.
feel like, in a sense, a lot of these players are maybe like kids going into a candy store. Like, yo, they got the whole big media day in the venue, in the stadium. All the different things they have to attend and do to hype up the Super Bowl. These guys are probably overwhelmed. Drake Maye, 22 years old, at the Super Bowl and all the responsibilities. These guys are probably like, yo, this is a lot. I don't want to say it's going to be a situation where the lights are too bright, but again, kind of like what we talked about earlier in the show with just Mike Vrabel and who he is. Yes, he's never coached in a game this big, but the man's been to multiple Super Bowls as a player. And, not only as a player, he's under probably arguably the greatest coach of all time. So, he has that knowledge and understanding of what it's like to be in this situation. And then to his right-hand man, Josh McDaniels, who again, as a coach, has all the experience in the world being in the situation. He's played the Seahawks before. He's coached against the Seahawks before. He's been in this situation. So, I believe the vibes around the team, maybe obviously I'm not on the team, but I'm assuming, these players are wide-eyed, like, whoa, we're at the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. Who would have ever thought we'd be here? But at the same time, I want to trust and believe that the coaching staff, especially Vrabel and McDaniels, will keep it in check a little bit to try to have these guys understand, like, yo, it's the Super Bowl, but like, we got a job to do. This is what the Patriots are about. A job, no matter what game it is, we got a job to do. Let's go out and execute the best way possible.
Yeah. No matter who the Patriots were going to face, whether it was going to be the Rams or Seahawks, they were going to face their toughest matchup
For sure.
going into the Super Bowl. One reason why I like that we have Seattle on that other side, Stafford and McVay, they've been to the Super Bowl.
That is
McVay's
true.
been to the Super Bowl twice. He knows how to prepare his team for the routine. This is what you got to prepare for. This is what your families, everything like that. And there's going to be some place who've already on that team been to the Super Bowl. So you have that preparation. Yes, Vrabel is he's won the Super Bowl with the Patriots. That was almost 20 years ago, right? A lot of things have changed since then. McDaniels can probably speak more to it in his experience with the Patriots. One thing I want Vrabel to do for May, hey, May, this is Tom Brady's number. Sit with Brady, I need a favor. Sit with my guy for 1 hour. Talk to him about everything he needs to know for preparation for the Super Bowl. 1 hour of your time.
You think they can
And you
pull
do
that
that.
off, man?
Why not? Why not?
That's the first call I'm making. I ain't gonna hold
That's the
you. If
that's the
I'm
first
Vrabel or
if
McDaniel.
Vrabel or McDaniels. Hey,
Crap.
Tommy or Kraft. Tommy, I need you to just sit my boy down for an hour, talk to him about what leads up to media day, what type of training, how do you get mentally prepared, the sleep, the family, all of these things that are going to be super new to you as a 22-year-old. Can you just give him all these things? Let him in. Drake seems like he's a dude that really listens and takes in a lot of information.
Yep.
Give that to him. Do that for us, a favor for 1 hour. Talk to Drake for us.
Listen,
You have to attempt to do that. You have to.
that's probably, if you got a list of things you need to do heading in, how do you prepare for the Super Bowl? Bring in Tom Brady to talk to the quarterback, to the team, whoever's probably should be up there for this organization that just gave you a freaking statue outside the stadium.
Yeah.
You forever
I,
linked to the team. You
right.
better come
I,
talk to some sense into them.
we know you're looking for a coach and all of that stuff. You're looking for your next quarterback,
1 hour.
but we just need you. And
1 hour
can
of
you
your
give me
time.
one? Can you give me 1 hour? One more time.
1 hour of your time. Nah,
That and
I mean, that'd be huge.
we don't even
That
need
would
to know
certainly
about
be
it.
huge.
We don't need to know about it. It doesn't need to get leaked out or anything like that. But somebody on that organization, a lot of them had Tommy's number. Someone's got to make that call, man. Someone's got to make that call, and Tom's got to pull through. You got to do what Jordan did for Kobe, man. You got to. I don't think Tom has a huge ego. Like me hearing about Jordan and Kobe's relationship in The Last Dance was kind of shocking. Like we knew they had a relationship, but we didn't know it was like that.
Texting
When
and
Kobe
calling
could,
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, we didn't know about that. And I don't need May and Tom Brady's relationship to be like that. But if you could pass on some information to this young buck who's taking your mantle, please.
Nah, I hear that. I agree with that 100%, man. 100%. Like I asked Tom, I'm gonna ask you too, man. If you had to put a prediction, I know it's still a little early, but if you had to put a prediction of a score on this game, what would you say? Me, I don't know why, but I feel like something similar to the last time these two teams faced off. Something 28-21,
Yeah.
28-24, somewhere in there. I don't see either team, especially the way the Patriots offense. I know they've been facing a tough defense, going through the playoffs, but I don't see them dropping 30, 40 points, you know, on the Seattle. But I do feel like in that high 20 range is possible. And the defense, where the Patriots are an elite defense, but a little bit of the bend don't break mentality of just coming up big when need be. But Seattle also has some firepower over there. JSN, Cooper Cup's a solid veteran. Their running back's pretty good. You know, I'm in that range 20, 28, 24, 20, 27, 21, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Uh, it's tough. I have Seahawks are a better team. I think the Seahawks should win. And if I would have to put a gun to my head, I would have the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. Patriots have been figuring it out.
Mhm.
Patriots have been figuring it out. I think in order for this game to be won by the Patriots has to be low scoring. I think you're looking at a 21-17 or 17-14 type of win where the Celtics, excuse me, Patriots muddy it up and they able to squeak by with time management that Vrabel's been so well at. I don't see it going that way. I think JSN is a dog. I think that we don't play man enough for JSN to get locked down. Especially with Rashid Shaheed stretching the floor. You got Cooper Cup there still. I have the Seahawks winning 28-24.
You going Seahawks, huh? You can't,
Yes.
team came all this way and you going Seahawks?
I have them winning. I'm going to be rooting for the Patriots. I have the Seahawks win because I think the Seahawks are a better Seahawks are a force. Now, does Sam Darnold choose to on the last game of the season to show up as the Sam Darnold we all know from the past? That's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't be shocked if the Patriots win this game. It's not going to be a surprise to me if they win. But I think that, it's the Seahawks time. But I know a little thing about revenge, and football doesn't like giving teams revenge. I remember being the Seahawks position. I know they're mad. I know they're sick. They got rid of their coach. They're thinking they have a new coach now. It's their time to revenge the season of 2014, 12 years later. Can you believe it's 12 years? 12 years later, they're about to avenge that team. But sometimes it doesn't go your way. Ask 2011 Marv crying.
Listen, I'll say this. I'm rocking with the Patriots. I won't be shocked how the game unfolds either way. Patriots win, Patriots lose. It's not gonna break me like it did previous years that I've seen Patriots lose
I'm
Super
still gonna
Bowls.
be hurt if they
I'm gonna be
lose.
hurt, but like again, I'm proud of this team and what they've been able to accomplish. I will say this, coming into the season, I don't know if did people really have Seahawks as like a Super Bowl contender? I don't
No,
think
see,
so.
no, not they
But
didn't have them as a playoff contender.
I still think in terms of if you had to rank teams in the league, I think the Seahawks should probably be ranked higher than the
Yeah,
Patriots. So if you're just talking about these two teams and take everybody else out the equation, it's like the Seahawks maybe are like a little bit more likely or more expected to be in this position over the Patriots going into the season. Now, obviously, I'm not saying, oh, well, the Seahawks been a contender all season long and they came
yeah.
into the season. No, they weren't. But I mean, looking at the roster and how they're constructed, and what the season has been like, and what you probably anticipated going into the season, yeah, you would have maybe thought Seahawks would be in the mix slightly, and we all thought, the Patriots. We're praying for 6 wins,
Yeah.
at least 7 wins. So, fast forward here to the Super Bowl 60 coming up. Again, however it falls, Patriots winning, Seahawks winning, I won't be shocked either way. But, the fact that we're even having this show, a Patriots Super Bowl preview show, is still mind-boggling to me, man.
That's crazy. I remember I still have a picture on my phone of you and me when I don't know if they were going for the Rams year or it might have been the Atlanta year. I'm holding on my hand like this, 5, and we're celebrating. I gotta show you that picture, but we've come a long way. New
Come a
quarterback,
long way.
new coach, and it's still
Whether
double M.
Still double M, and whether they win or lose, I honestly can say I think these next couple of years for the Patriots organization should
It's
be
great.
some exciting years to come. Win or lose, Super Bowl 60, I think they have something that will at least keep the interest of the fan base and whatnot. I think things will stay interested in New England for a long period of time.
We have a coach people want to play for.
We have a coach that people want to play for, and we have a quarterback that it looks like a lot of people are rocking with as well. So, that's all you can really ask for when you're a football team, a coach and a quarterback. Now you onto something. But yeah, man, this has been the New England Patriots Super Bowl 60 preview show. Shout out to Tom E. Curran from
Yeah.
NBC Sports Boston coming in and blessing us with some of his time and giving us his insight on this Patriots season and in the Super Bowl matchup coming up. Any final words, Marv?
I'm super excited, bro. It's been exciting waking up and just reading Patriots news, going on YouTube, reading Patriot things. It brings me back to my younger self, and doing this as a routine. It's good to have the Patriots back in January, back in February, keeping our seasons nice, long, and fulfilled.
Hey man, it's been a while, but damn, does it feel good to be back.
It feels good, man. It feels good. I know you was laughing at the Ravens and the Buffalo Bills fans that we gave them a 5-year reprieve. I
They had
guess
their
it wasn't
chance.
long enough.
They had their chance. But hey, listen, don't worry. We'll take care of things on this side. You leave it us. We'll be all right. Hey man, for my guy Mees, I'm Mike. This is Double M for sure. And as always, we to the moon.
To the moon, baby.
Out of here.